everyone, welcome back to another collector's discussion. Today we have InArt Pennywise, some updated photos it looks like. It looks like we're getting various photos with different poses and all that, so I'm basically just gonna go through that and take a look and see if it was worth me pre-ordering it, basically. Even though, if you have seen my other Hot Toy discussions or 1/6 scale discussions, I usually advise people not to pre-order just because everything is mass produced to the point where you as a collector won't miss out. But I feel that with InArt, it's too new. They're too new of a company to really get a grasp of what they're actually going to produce. And I watched a couple of live streams with John, who is the Queen Studios representative. He kind of said there've only been 1,000 or so Pennywise pre-orders, and he straight out said if there's 1,000 pre-orders, they're probably only going to make 1,000 of those figures of the Pennywise. So it looks like certain characters will be limited, so that's the reason I pre-ordered the Pennywise. And that's probably the only reason you would, if it's limited and they're doing limited runs. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with this figure. If you guys do enjoy this, make sure you like and sub. Of course, I'll bring the pictures up now and we'll get right into them. So we've got the photos here, and I think the photos in general look a bit more high res in comparison to the other ones they gave us. These ones look much more high definition. So I think obviously the main part of this figure is probably the head sculpt here. So the rooted hair looks really good. Like I've said with the other video I did with the Pennywise, or the multiple videos actually, I've done a fair bit, just because I love this character and horror. The hair looks really, really good. I think a lot of people's main concern though is this going to be the outcome for us when it gets basically delivered to us, you know? Is it going to be as pristine like this, or is InArt going to throw something to maintain this, or to get it like this straight out the box? But yeah, overall it looks really, really good. Like, the head is definitely much more bigger in compared to the Hot Toys one. There's lots of cracks and creases and wrinkles. It looks a bit more detailed than the Hot Toys one again. The rolly eyes again is a really good thing for this figure, because Pennywise, especially Skarsgård's version, this one here, he was more of he was acting with his eyes, kind of like Robert Pattinson's Batman. You need to have movable eyes for this character. And hopefully there's a better picture of the teeth, because the teeth is much more high def compared to the Hot Toys one. A bit of the neck is shown here, but I think that's just because it's sitting and maybe they've crouched his head a bit or tilted it a bit forward. The weathering is also another standout. Like, this is all wrecked compared to the Hot Toys one. And again, that's a massive leap forward. There's lots of weathering here. I initially thought that these were fabric or could have been something almost like a microfiber, but it looks sculpted here. But they done a good job making it look fabric, because I was wondering if it was actually fabric when I first saw this. The bells and all that look nice. Some of the parts do say it's die-cast. It says it's die-cast on the pre-order listing. So are these going to be die-cast? And are these going to rattle and jingle like it basically did in the movie? That would be pretty insane of a detail. Although, speaking of details, these straps you can just see here on the shoulder. And maybe I'll get into that a bit more if there's a better photo of this. You can see two visible ones here, and I'll get into that a bit later on when there's a better photo to get my point across. And yeah, like I said, this is way more weathered in compared to the Hot Toys one. Like, this looks like Pennywise has gone into the sewage. Especially, oh, look at that as well. That's pretty nice. Under the shoes is all disgusting too. The shoes itself is all weathered. I mean, this is really, really good. Like, and for the price as well, like, a lot of people said it was too pricey, but I've been around the custom world, you can say. I've done some custom stuff myself, made my own. It's not really cheap to get 100% perfection, so the price that they're offering here is damn near 100% perfection, and I say it's worth it. You know, if you're invested into this character, you know, get it. Although here's actually a good picture because you can see a bit of the arms better. So what I was talking about before is there's a strap here, a little red and white band. There's also one just there. There also should be one here. And it looks like InArt has missed it, as well as Hot Toys missed it too. There should be one strap here, right where the forearm is. Same here as well. And there isn't. So that's going to be a bit of an inaccuracy, you can say, because the original suit from part 1 and 2 had the straps under this part where the forearm is. To be fair, you can say at least this one is puffed up like the shoulder blade, so it covers up that band, while the Hot Toys one didn't. It was kind of two different fabrics here. So at least this one's kind of the same style, so you probably won't even care or notice that there's an inaccuracy here. But other than that, you know, it's not that big of a complaint, because again, here you can't really see the forearm part, because again, it's covered by the puffiness of the shirt. And that's something Hot Toys missed as well. It was pretty much a weird different fabric. And this head sculpt is the price of admission, in my opinion. The other head sculpt might be a bit iffy if it comes out the box, or ratted and messed up. This one is supposed to be as is here, so you're really not going to maintain this hair, because this scene was as is here. It was pretty messy and wild. And this is probably the head sculpt I'm going to use anyway. I initially had an issue with the one werewolf hand. And like I said with the other video, to be fair, he only has it on his right arm in that one scene, in the well house scene. So it is accurate, but Hot Toys went out of their way and gave us two hands with the werewolf's claws. So I think they should have probably given us just two, just to have identical hands. But yeah, the weathering is really, really good. And while I'm here on the chest piece, this is obviously it chapter 1, while Hot Toys was chapter 2. And the main difference in the suits, as I've said before, is the buttons for chapter 1 are obviously depicted accurately here, where there's 2 on the chest and 1 on the belt, while the Hot Toys version, which is accurate to part 2, has the 3 on the chest and none on the belt. So that's the main difference that this version of Pennywise has with chapter 1 and 2. Yeah, I really, really like this. They done pretty good with the photos. Like, something odd, I would say, with Hot Toys recently is some of their photos haven't been the best. Their Andrew Garfield one that I recently done was, quality-wise, the photo didn't look good, as well as the Obi-Wan. I think it may have, well, I'm only speculating, guessing, it may have been a sneaky way for Hot Toys to get around photoshopping some of their figures there, and the Andrew sculpt being a previously recast, it wouldn't surprise me if they photoshopped those promo pics as well as the Obi-Wan, because they're kind of iffy as sculpts. So when you see something like this that is really, really good quality photos, it questions why Hot Toys are doing grainy photos. But enough about Hot Toys, because we're talking about this. But obviously it's fair to compare, because they're two... I mean, this is a great contender for Hot Toys. And obviously Hot Toys have been up on the top for a fair while. I think Bay was the last rivalry Hot Toys had. And Bay are kind of gone elsewhere with their 1/6 scale collecting, basically. But as I said, the teeth are so much detailed here. They're much more glossy than the Hot Toys one. That was also one of the issues I had. It almost looked not as bad as Ant-Man, but it was on par with the kind of weird way they've sculpted the teeth, Hot Toys. But this is really, really nice. Obviously, yeah, the fabric here is much more high detailed and higher quality. The one thing, and I've just seen this here, that might be just... I hope that's just this, promotional photo, the prototype. Hopefully we don't get stuff like that has too much tattedness in the collar, because that might start to unthread all the way around. So hopefully they've done something to avoid this starting, threads coming apart. That will probably be my main issue with this, is I wouldn't want this to start fraying and tearing up, because it's so good here. And the Hot Toys one, yeah, Hot Toys done a bit of a different way. With this is way more accurate, but Hot Toys done a way where it looks tattered and messed up, but it's not going to continue and further break. And hopefully they do something similar to the Hot Toys one, where it's not going to really split. But yeah, I really hope that the head sculpt turns out like this. And I might as well just move my head just a touch there. I really hope this is what the final product is for this head sculpt. I also probably would have liked other variation head sculpts. Granted, this is probably the main look Skarsgård's Pennywise has in the movie, but I would have liked the arrow in the head and have it interchangeable. Obviously the deadlights has been pretty much everyone who has been talking about the Hot Toys Pennywise and the InArt Pennywise wanted a deadlight head sculpt with maybe LED light up. I wouldn't necessarily care about the LED because I don't really use, well, to be honest, Australia so far have banned button cell batteries, so it's probably for the best that this isn't got LED features, because it wouldn't be able to come here. It wouldn't be able to be in my collection pretty much. But even so, this is much more accurate in compared to the Hot Toys one. The forehead is much more Megamind style, a balloon head. I think it's a bit more receding than the Hot Toys one. And obviously being rooted hair, it amps up that realism. And like I said, hopefully with this sculpt, we don't have to do too much when it comes to futzing and fixing around the rooted hair, because then that will be an issue. Because again, not a lot of collectors want to do that. You know, you want to get it as is in these promo pics. So you just got a couple of poses here. And again, a lot of people were kind of giving too much criticism, I would say, where it's like, oh, it's just going to be like their statues and you're not going to be able to move it. And I'm pretty sure that's why InArt gave us these updated photos, to show that this is an actual articulated posable 1/6 scale figure, and it's not going to be like their statues. And poses like that prove the point, where it's like, it's obviously posable. And yeah, overall, I really like it. Like, the hair color is a bit more accurate to the Hot Toys in compared to the Hot Toys one. It's much more textured. Obviously, it's rooted, so you're going to get that. It's colored a bit better too. So now we've got the accessories. What's the point of this? Is that detachable, or is that just some weird thing that they've done? That would be weird if that's detachable off the belt or something like that. That's odd. I think the one negative I've got with this figure, and I can give them the exception of the elbow band for not being there. To be fair, I really can't, because they're supposed to portray an accurate figure. I'm not really a big fan of the paper accessories. Especially this. Hopefully it's not 100% paper. Hopefully it's like the actual movie and it has that lacquer style paint kind of put on it, where it was able to float on water and not crumple and go all soggy, basically. Hopefully they've done that to give it that gloss coat, because it will be disappointing if this is just a 1/6 scale paper boat. And again, like I said, I might be keeping my Hot Toys one, again, just because I'm a massive horror collector and the Hot Toys one is still really good. And if you're going to get this one and sell the Hot Toys one, I would say don't sell the Hot Toys one, because you kind of got best of both worlds, where you've got a really, really accurate representation from InArt, but then with the Hot Toys version, you got a much more variety of accessories, including, in my opinion, I think a better SS Georgie. Yes, this is more accurate, but longevity-wise, it's probably going to shrivel up and break. You want to be pretty careful when handling this. And to be honest, it's probably going to be a boxed accessory for me. Just because I think the stage base is good enough to display. And I probably won't display the boat. This is weird though. I don't get why they've pulled that apart. I don't really get that. Obviously, you got the classic pose here. I personally would have loved if it said I love dairy. But again, I think he had a red balloon without the I love dairy. But I would have liked it just to be different from Hot Toys. Because again, Hot Toys kind of just had the same balloon here. Again, this looks a bit more better than the Hot Toys balloon, to be honest. This will probably be the same design, a wired piece with fabric glued on top of it. Again, I would be careful. Like I said with the Hot Toys one, I avoided posing mine with the balloon. Just because I'm scared of this, again, breaking apart. And I would say the same with this. I also collect NECA figures. You can kind of see some up there. And I had a couple of the Pennywise NECA figures, and they had the same option with the balloons and the same pose with the hand here, and their balloon rod basically peeled away and broke because too much pressure on the hand, and it was such a thin accessory. I feel this would happen as well, where the string will probably start to break up. But I will say, if you're just going to put it in this pose, throw it in a detail from your case or shelf or whatever you've got in your room, and keep it like that, then I think you're safe. You'll be fine. But it's the constant swapping out. And a lot of 1/6 scale collectors love swapping out their poses and accessories. I'm not really like that, but majority of 1/6 scale collectors are, and I will give warning that you probably will damage this balloon string on either version, the Hot Toys and this one. You would most likely damage it if you constantly take it out and replace it. But yeah, overall, this is a much better update in compared to the Hot Toys one. Like, something as simple as this arm here, how it's all sagging down and baggy. It's way more accurate than the Hot Toys one. And as I said before, the strap here, even though it is a bit disappointing that InArt as well missed that detail, it's much more accurate here than the Hot Toys one, because again, this part of the baggy clothes sag over the bicep, which the Hot Toys one didn't do that. That's interesting. Why have they given us a Chapter 2 pose and image? That's weird. This is from Chapter 2. This is not Chapter 1. Also, I would have gone all out as well. I would have loved, again, more head sculpts, where it's like, if they're going to do this pose, they should have given us like the long tongue version. Or maybe have a magnetized swap out with the tongue. Even like the Skarsgård head sculpt, where there was a scene in Chapter 2 where he kind of like tears his face and he kind of like melts. And it reveals, you know, Skarsgård's face. And it's all painted up. I would have liked that head sculpt as well. Maybe Hot Toys shouldn't have given us that, because Hot Toys was from Chapter 2. But yeah, it's odd why they've done this, because again, this is from Chapter 2, not 1. But yeah, this is really, really nice. I can't wait to have this, you know. As a horror fan, I'm really, really satisfied with this. Yeah, this is really, really nice. And again, for people that don't collect horror, it's just not for you, you know. And that's fine, you know. You don't have to run and collect everything, as I don't. But yeah, if you're scared shitless of horror movies, and I know a lot of people have a fear and phobia of clowns, don't get it. I mean, you're gonna walk into your room and see this. Don't get it. If you're scared of this stuff, don't even get it. And yeah, I think this is a bit better quality. Like I said, the photos for the actual base here, so you can actually see more texturing and details here. So this is all apparently a wooden base, which is really, really nice. And up here, it's a wooden frame, I assume. This would obviously be fabric. They said that this is actually going to be real velvet, which Hot Toys keep missing with their Batman figures, especially their Christian Bale Batman. It's like, Hot Toys need to smarten up with that. You've got InArt here giving a diorama velvet piece. You know, I think the Batman capes deserve the accurate textures. The interesting thing is, also it's magnetized as well, so no crotch grabbers. And that would be nice to see how strong that is, and if it's able to withstand the weight. As well as their Gandalf and their Heath Ledger Joker. They're all pretty much magnetized, and it's a really, really updated, cool idea, but hopefully the body is strong enough to hold this, especially these ankle joints. And like I said, I was going to just say before that, the interesting thing is that you got a swap out backdrop, so you've got this firework kind of background. This is basically the scene where he does the dance, basically, and this is obviously the stage he does it on. And it has this background. And then you had another one, which was kind of the clown display. And their swap out parts, their swap out backdrops. I wonder if they're plastic or cardboard. I hope they're not cardboard. I haven't seen cardboard be put on the pre-order list of materials. I've seen wood, metal, obviously plastic and fabric clothing. I haven't seen cardboard backdrops being listed, so maybe this is wood. That would be really, really interesting if this is actually a wood piece that slides out and it's painted or printed with these images. Again, that would be a huge step forward, and compared to the kind of shit cardboard Hot Toys give with some of their backdrops. But yeah, this is really, really nice. Or as well, I want to mention here, obviously you can just see I got D12s there. I don't know if this will fit a D12. Unless if you get the hinges that rise the shelves a bit. I don't know if this will fit a D12. Because this looks a bit taller. The base, it's much more taller than the weather gutter one that we got from Hot Toys. And that one, it also struggles to fit Pennywise in a D12. So I'm wondering if this probably won't fit a D12. So I might have to rearrange my horror collection display just to fit this in. And as if you guys don't know, if you can just see above my head here, I've got a bookcase, and basically all that top shelf book part is going, and I'm getting module cases stacked there. So I originally wanted to move everything in my D12s to the module cases that will be directly behind me. But if this doesn't fit in the D12, then I might have to put my horror stuff in the module cases, you know. Again, which isn't a massive big deal for me. But a majority of collectors, I would say majority of collectors probably have D12s over module cases. Just because D12s, well, at one point were the cheaper alternative. It's kind of changed now with inflation. But yeah, overall, I really, really like this. Like I said, I think this is the way I would display mine. Because this is too good of a head sculpt to not display. And also, if you guys bought the double pack or the deluxe edition that had the 2 head sculpts, you have also, I think, got a head sculpt stand or kind of like a pedestal display, so you don't have to box up that other head sculpt. You can have it displayed on the kind of display stand that they're giving for the head, which again, that's a really nice idea. And then they're just giving you here the viewing of the interchangeable eyes. Now, I heard that they were interchangeable and they're not rotated moving. Again, I don't really know, and I forgot reading. I don't know if they told us on the listing if they're like movable like a DX figure from Hot Toys, or they're like the Ben Affleck Batmans where you got to peg them out and replace them with these 3 options. To be honest, I don't care either way, because I'm happy that this character has movable eyes at all. And I'm pretty sure I've seen the cockeyed look, and they're not displayed it here, so I'm assuming that they are independently rotatable instead of like the Ben Affleck Batmans. Because I think I've seen different eye poses than these 3 in their other photos. That's really nice too. That's actually a nice artwork. That would be really nice to draw as well. Yeah, that's really nice. I like that. You know what? I would love if InArt start diving into probably more horror. They probably won't just now. Again, they've pretty much said they're doing iconic characters and only iconic characters and nothing else yet. So I understand that. Because I would love a Tim Curry Pennywise as well. Even outside of the Pennywise and the It franchise, I think horror collectors are due for a very good Freddy Krueger. I don't think we've ever gotten a good Freddy Krueger at all. We kind of got a weird Frankenstein version from Sideshow, but again, hardcore horror fans look at it and it's weird because I don't know what version they're portraying in that movie. Well, for that figure. They did say it was part 3 Dream Warriors, but then I think they scrapped that licensing when the figure released, so that's a bit of a mess of a figure in my opinion. I would really love if InArt does more horror stuff maybe later down the line once they become more established as a company. But I do think this is a really good start for InArt for a horror figure. And you know, looking at this, for people that were complaining that it's just going to be a statue with fabric on top, clearly it's not. You know, clearly you can pose it. This is actually back to front, because that's actually the back, right? Yeah, that's the back. So they've twisted the whole figure around, and obviously the head sculpt is facing backwards, and that's obviously the front part. So you can really pose the shit out of this. So people that were kind of complaining or giving harsh criticism that it's just going to be a fabric statue, like I said, clearly it's not, because they're really posing the shit out of it with these photos. Yeah, that's really, really nice. This is scary real, you know. And again, like I said, if you're not a horror collector or a horror fan, I wouldn't advise getting this, because you will probably scare the shit out of yourself and other people that might want to look at your collection or anything like that. Like I said, this is not for the faint of heart if you're not a real hardcore horror fan. But this is right up my alley and I had to get it, you know. I can't wait for the comparison with my Hot Toys one, because like I said, I really like my Hot Toys version. It's just, there's some little minor nitpicks that kind of give it a couple points down. But I still really love the Hot Toys one. And I might keep the Hot Toys one just because, again, there's different variations for people that have the eye and know what differences there are. There are differences between the two. And they're from 2 different movies, and they've got 2 different display bases and accessories and all that. So you can have 2 Pennywises posed up differently. And, you know, I wouldn't complain. And yeah, you can just see here, that's the other option of the backdrop, which I think it's the room where all the clowns are, and you kind of get the Tim Curry cameo or Easter egg of Tim Curry's version of the clown in this part of the movie. For me, I don't think I'll display it with this backdrop. It will be the other one, the more flame fire effect, just because I think it's more accurate to the actual display base itself. And yeah, I mean, look at that detailing here. I mean, to be fair, Hot Toys did give promo photos back in 2019. I think it was that year. And the head sculpt pretty much looked all flaky and disgusting like it does here in this photo. Hopefully, though, InArt don't do what Hot Toys did and kind of scaled back and we lost all this detailing. But again, Queen Studios having this good of a reputation for the statue world, I don't think they would go really soft on detailing. Just as well as because they want a good first impression as well. I don't think they're going to mess up on this. They really can't, because then they've kind of destroyed their chance of the 1/6 scale world if they give us subpar figures. Just because they're so brand new and everyone's going to be harsh with them. But yeah, that's pretty much all of them. So I might as well go back to, which one was the one that I generally liked? I like, where's that one with the, yeah, this one. I really like this one. So that's pretty much it for this. Again, I'm really excited for this. For people that don't know, this is coming out next year, July. I heard the 27th or the 24th, some stores are capping off this and they're stopping the pre-order numbers. I don't know if that's true, or I don't know if that's Queen Studios or the store I looked at that were cutting off pre-orders at that particular date. But I will say, if you guys do want this, it's most likely going to be limited, just because it's such a unique figure. And obviously with the Hot Toys one being out, not a lot of people are going to run to this, unless you're like me, who is a hardcore fan of horror and loves Stephen King novels and all that. But yeah, overall, I'm excited for this. I want to see what else InArt have in store. Their Batman figure is scheduled to be their next one, I think. Their Robert Pattinson one. I would obviously hop on that and take a look at it, obviously, because again, Robert Pattinson has climbed the charts, you can say, as one of my favorite Batman, alongside with Bale and Keating. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure you like and sub, and I'll see you in the next one.